To get buyers amidst a significant dip in market prices.
It's News Central here on TV3. I'm Kemini Amanor.
And I am Mawuena Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now.
Now, Ashanti Region Chair of the main opposition party, NPP, Bernard Nchibwesiako, also known as Chairman Wontumi, today honored an invitation to report to the police CID headquarters Friday from the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, who says that Wontumi would be arrested if he failed to show up. The case involves Akonta Mining Limited, a company linked to the Ashanti Region NPP chair, which is under investigation for alleged illegal mining. It is recalled that Director General of the Criminal Investigative Department, DCOP Lydia Yako Donko, announced that investigations into the operations of Akonta Mines owned by Chairman Wontumi were ongoing. The CID boss said one other person had also been arrested in relation to the matter. My colleague Noble Crosby Annan is following up on this development. He's joining us with a bit more on this matter. Talk to us, Noble. What exactly is the chairman there for? Do we know more about the invitation?
So just like you mentioned, it's an interesting morning. It's been an interesting morning here at the CID headquarters here in Accra. First of all, two things are happening. And you spoke about the presence of Chairman Wontumi and Akonta Mining in relation to concerns about illegal mining. Chairman Wontumi has come here. He has arrived. He came in his company of his lawyer, Andy Apiakubi. He came in high spirit. You know how Chairman Wontumi usually likes to behave. He was in high spirits, wearing a regular, if you like, T-shirts, and then some trousers to match. And then the process began, and he has been taken to the places for interrogation or conversations here at the CID headquarters. So he came in with some more lawyers, and close to a handful of lawyers came to accompany Chairman Wontumi. But because Godfred Daffy, I'm talking about the former Attorney General, is also here. I understand there's the presence of some close to 70 lawyers around the CID premises, in and around the CID premises, in solidarity with number one, Chairman Wontumi, and the number two is Godfred Yabwa. If you ask me what is happening so far, exactly this is it.
I see. So where is Chairman Wontumi right now?
So at the moment, what I can tell you is that he's still at the CID headquarters. Now, the exact room, the exact place, the exact conversations that are being held as we speak, that we do not know, because that is in camera. The media is not allowed there. But we are understanding that the meeting with Chairman Wontumi is coming to an end pretty soon, and that we'll be able to speak with him and get a word or two from him on what the discussions entailed. Already, we know that his lawyer, Andy Apiakubi, has spoken with the media, and he's spoken about a few things. One of them was the conversation, the thinking that his camp, I'm talking about Chairman Wontumi, they're being lukewarm to requests from the Attorney General. He says that is flatly not true, because they have been having correspondence with the Director General of the CID, and his thinking is that that agreement, conversations with the CID, reaches the Attorney General. So number one is not true that they have not been responsive enough. Number two, he's talking about the fact that when the Attorney General, spoke about what will happen to Chairman Wontumi if he does not come to the CID headquarters today, and he thinks that is not fair. He thinks that is undue escalation of the matter. These and many other things is what Andy Apiakubi has been referring to concerning his clients, Chairman Wontumi, and the happenings at the CID headquarters.
Very well. Let's take a listen to lawyer Apiakubi.
It is incorrect to anybody to suggest that we have been lukewarm to the invitations from the Director General's office. I know that the Director General works for the Attorney General in terms of prosecution. So I consider the discourse between my good self or my office and the Director General's office as equally, by extension, to the Attorney General's office. So I am sure there was some communication gap that resulted in this impasse. But I want to express my disappointment in the warning that the refusal to defer the meeting. The warning was that it should Wontumi fail to appear, he will order the arrest of Wontumi brought to Accra. Indeed, we don't need to unnecessarily increase the political temperature in the country. We have not at any point in time decided or refused to respond to invitations. And you see, the law is also that anybody, accused person or a suspect, ought to be given adequate time, preparation, and even resources to be able to prepare his defense to any charges prepared against him. And then let us also not forget that accused person is not considered guilty until proven so, and therefore he has to have a right to his civil liberties. Indeed, when we go to the court, the bail, police inquiry bail continues up to the point that the charges are filed in court, and then.
Oh, very well, Crosby. Now let's talk about the former Attorney General's presence also at the CID. What else do we know about his, appearance there?
Well, so Godfrey Diabodame, he arrived here at the time that was expected of him. That's right, close to, in fact, before 9:30, I understand. Now, when he got here, he was in the company of a few other lawyers, and later a handful of lawyers also joined Godfrey Dame here. And surprisingly, well, some supporters of Godfrey Dame also arrived here at the CID headquarters. They were wearing some T-shirts with some inscriptions on it. Among the inscriptions was "Don't defame Dame." That was what was written in front of the T-shirt. In fact, at a point, these supporters seemed to have some disagreements with the CID officials, because the CID officials were trying to push them or get them out of the premises of the headquarters. That was something they were resisting initially, but of course, eventually, the CID officials, they had the upper hand, and they drove these men and women, a few of them, out. Unfortunately, they had to drive them out with the media. So Godfrey Dame, we understand, is here. We've seen him here. We know that he's here. He's also in one of the rooms of the CID headquarters. Interrogations or conversations are ongoing in relation to the petition that has been presented against him. And I'm talking about the petition from Richard Jaffa. What we also know is that meeting may also be coming to an end pretty shortly. And when it does, hopefully some engagement happen. And we get to know some things that happened in the meeting, Kemini.
We look forward to that. Thank you so much, Crosby. Noble Crosby Annan is our correspondent at the police headquarters here in Accra.
Let's move away from there, where the National Identification Authority has commenced the issuance and collection of Ghana cards for Ghanaians aged 6 to 14 years who've already registered. According to the NI, the issuance of the card will take place at designated registration points, specifically the schools where the children were originally registered, beginning with 56 districts nationwide, with the remaining districts scheduled to follow in the coming days. My colleague George Queening is following up on this distribution exercise. Let's find out what the process has been like and whether or not indeed these children are receiving these cards. And we'll connect with him right now and get an understanding as to what the collection process has been like. Let's go on to George Queenan right now, who's my colleague, who's joining us via Zoom quickly for a conversation. George, I can see NIA officials behind you, and I see some children as well seated behind you. What can you tell us the process is like for them to receive their cards?
Thank you so much, Mawuena. So this is the La Bethel and Salem Plateau schools at large, the Nikotopon constituency. And originally, they were supposed to start at 8 a.m., but because they had to do the setup and all that, it took them a while for them to actually do the setup. So as at 12:05, 5 cards have been issued, according to the NIA official. So these are students here who are also coming for their Ghana cards. And they actually registered. This was the official place that they registered. And before I talk to the NIA official, let me just get that excitement from these students, how they feel trying to get a Ghana card. Ghana card has become more like a prestige. You told me earlier on. So how does it feel that you're going to be in possession of a Ghana card? How's the feeling like? No, you were talking loud. You and I spoke before this. So please give it that bit on TV. You are live on TV. So you're going to get a Ghana card. You're going to own one. How does it feel?
I feel happy that I'll get a Ghana card because I have it's like.
And mobile phone? You have what?
Tablet.
Okay, tablet. Okay.
I get a Ghana card, I can go and register a SIM and search my homeworks.
Oh, so that means you're going to use the tablet for educational purposes,
yes,
and not for any other stuff.
Please.
And you too. How does it feel? You're going to own a Ghana card. How's it feel like?
I'm excited to finally have a Ghana card.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that I'm getting my own Ghana card. That I don't need to get my own SIM from my father's so I can have my SIM with my own name and all the Gmail.
A friend of yours that I asked, he said he did the registration when he was in classes, but now he's in Form 1. So when did you do your registration?
That's it.
So and you're also in Form 1?
Yes.
So the wait was like a year, right? So they have to wait for a year to get their Ghana card, and it's actually happening now. So let's engage the NIA official. But I see that you are actually, working very hard. But you told me that 5 cards have so far been issued. You have a lot of them here. How many cards do you want to issue in a day, on a daily basis? In a day. And you've done 5 so far. It's almost 1 o'clock. Is it possible?
That's what I was saying. They come here.
Okay,
so far very
early. Okay.
The limit child was claiming some tasks in the office.
Okay, sure. Makes sense. But how is the process so far? How is the cooperation from the students so far? So the NIA official is confident that on a daily basis they'll be able to issue 100 cards to these students, and cooperation from the students are actually on the positive note. So these are some of the cards that is going through them, and the machines are also active. There's no complaint of any hitches in terms of machinery, and so more than 350,000 cards of these minors aged between 6 and 14 will have their cards issued to them from the NIA. And we also went to the Registered General's Department, and according to the officials there, they actually are not, having this exercise today. They are actually taking today to do the setup, and it will actually take place at the Sakiteria, the first cluster of schools around the Accra city area. And so that's where they will also be. But other places, of course, other centers are having these cards issued to them. So 56 centers across the country, Mawuena.
Right then, George, thank you very much for those details. That's my colleague George Quinn. And let's get over to the other Zoom right now and speak to William Sampoma Dallas. He is the head of corporate affairs for the National Identification Authority. He's joining us on the other Zoom, like I mentioned, to just touch base and round up this conversation properly. Dallas, thank you as well for joining us this afternoon. I mean, let's start off with the 56 initial districts. Is this to suggest it's a pilot phase? What informed the decision to go with 56? If you could kindly unmute for us, Dallas, just before we engage you, you're muted.
Okay. Great. Are we good?
Yes, we're good to go.
Great. So sometime last year, the authority began the registration of case between the ages of 6 and 14 in about 168 districts. The registration suffered some technical glitches, and so it had to put it on hold. As at the time it was put on hold, the authority had registered about 377,000 plus. Now, when the new management took over, we decided that before we commence or resume the registration, we will have to clear the backlogs. And so as I speak with you, we have printed all the over 377,000 cards. Today, the 6th day of October, which is a Monday, is the day we've earmarked to, as it were, begin with the issuance of the cards to the kids. And so as I speak with you, our officers are at the various designated centers issuing the cards to the kids. We've started with just about 56 districts and municipalities because, in our system, after the cards are printed, we're supposed to do what we call claiming. It's basically taking records of the cards in the various districts. As at the close of work Friday, about 56 districts out of the 168 had been able to claim their cards. So we decided to give the 56 districts the go-ahead to issue the cards to the kids. As and when the other districts complete their claiming, we will allow them to also move to the schools to issue the cards.
Right. And just on how long this exercise is supposed to go, you mentioned over 300,000 cards. What's the estimated time with which you're expecting to have these cards distributed to the kids? Because we understand for every day there has to be 100 cards taken, but as at now, from where my colleague has been, just about 5 have been taken or collected.
Great. So we ended the exercise in the first week of December. And so we have quite a number of weeks to complete this exercise. And it's typical of issuers, especially today being the first day. We anticipated it, that the turnout will be a bit low. But I can assure you by close of day, we will get more people going to the centers to pick their cards. We also anticipated that because these kids were registered last year, it's obvious some of them have even changed schools. And so after the issuance, all the unclaimed or on the unissued cards will be sent to our various district offices for parents and kids to go and get them issued.
Quickly on what happens for persons or the children who might have missed the initial registration. Do they get another opportunity?
Great. So next year, we're going to continue with the registration. And this time around, we've learned from the glitches of the past. And so we are going to do instant issuance. Once we register the kid, we issue the card instantly so that we wouldn't have to come back, print records, go back to engage before issuance is done.
Right then, thank you very much. That's William Amponsa Dallas speaking to us this afternoon. He's Head of Corporate Communications at the National Identification Authority, speaking to us.
Let's take you to the Volta region now, where tons of onions are left to rot on farms in the Anglonga district as farmers struggle to get buyers amidst a significant dip in market prices. TV3's Faisal Abdul-Idrisu reports that the situation has left a multitude of farmers distraught as their investments slip back into the soils.
A large number of farmers in the Anglonga district cultivate onions, a major preoccupation that has served as a sustainable livelihood support for local families for many years. From May to September, farmers in Tegbi and Agbedrafo areas tilled hundreds of acres of farmland for the cultivation of varieties of onion, particularly Boko red onions. Now it's time for harvest, but the farmers are struggling to get market for their produce, resulting in huge losses.
In the market, so the thing they there. So how the thing doesn't, they're not buying the market. How they will come to the farm and buy it. The thing that I've lost now is, let's say in a kilo is 22,500 in a kilo. Yeah, that is when we bag it will go like 150 bucks. And before is 2,000 and then 1,700 that way. But now there is 400 cedis per bag.
On the farms, tons of onions are left to rot, affecting everyone along the value chain.
Me no from like but the she let me play. Me fi drani. Let me dre.
We buy the onions from the farmers, but this year, when we send it to the market, they are not buying. So we bring it back home and leave it to rot because there's nothing we can do about it. These ones here, I can't preserve them beyond 4 weeks. They will soon go to waste. We are appealing to government to buy the stocks from us and give it to the schools to use. We labored with our children, took loans to do this, but there's nothing to take home. In the Ghanaian markets, prices continue to fluctuate due to competition from imported onions from neighboring Niger, where approximately 1 million tons of onions are produced annually. The lack of storage facilities and poor market infrastructure, coupled with high production costs, exacerbates the problem. Buyers are not coming because there's already a lot on the market imported from Niger and Nigeria, and they are even cheaper. In 2 weeks' time, if I'm not able to harvest what I have on the farm, I would have lost more than 30,000 Ghana cedis that I used to cultivate this. District Chief Executive for Angloga, Sandra Kpedo, is appealing to government and state agencies to intervene.
Equally appealing to government to help us if they can speak to the buffer stock to come to our aid. Equally written to the second cycles institutions around here to help buy these products. I've also asked the school feeding caterers to also help us.
Across the farms here in the Angloga district are thousands of tons of onion left to rot on the farms because farmers are not able to get any good market value for their produce. What that means is that in the coming season, they may not have the financial muscle to be able to cultivate again because they are losing a lot more to the soil than they would have in their pocket. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
Let's stay on this story. Faisal Abdul Idrisu is joining us live for a bit more on this story. Now, Faisal, talk to us about what is accounting for the loss that we're seeing.
Yes, so the local market here has a big challenge that has to do with the importation of onions from the sub-region, particularly from Niger and Burkina Faso. They tell us that the imported onions are more cheaper here than that which is produced locally. What is produced in Angloga is usually the Boku Red, which takes a few days to go to waste, to rot. And so once they are not able to sell on time, they are not able to preserve it for further more weeks. In the market, like I said, the imported ones are cheaper because here in the Volta region, what they told us is that the farm inputs, including fertilizers and also the use of irrigation, which has to do with electricity costs, among others, is the reason why theirs is a little bit higher in terms of price than what is imported. And for this reason, when you go to the market, people prefer buying what has been imported than what has been produced locally. And that is what is actually accounting for the huge losses the farmers are incurring in the Angloga district.
I see. And since you went round for this story and filed it, has anything changed?
Nothing really yet. I have seen people showing interest, saying that they are going to buy. But the DC indicated that the letters she has written to the various agencies, including Papa Stock, among others, are yet to yield any positive result. As stated in the story earlier by one of the respondents, what used to sell somewhere around 2,000 Ghana cedis, 1,700 Ghana cedis, that is some 750 kilograms, is now selling around 400 and then 500 Ghana cedis, too low for them. And so we are hoping that in the coming days, government will take action. We are hoping that more buyers outside the region who probably are seeing this may want to come in to mitigate the losses they are incurring.
And I hear you talk about the buffer stock company, a few times. Do they have a storage facility in the Volta region?
The buffer stock has an office in the Volta region. I am yet to know if they have a warehouse or a storage facility themselves. But what we do know is that over time, post-harvest loss is a huge issue, and buffer stock hasn't been really helpful over the period. We are yet to speak to them to know exactly what they will be doing about this call that has been extended to them. Once I get that, I'm sure our viewing public will have an update on that. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll see how that plays out in the coming days. Faisal Abdul Idrisu is our Volta region correspondent who's just been telling us about the glut of onions in that region.
Now, when she first heard the word cervical cancer, she broke down in tears. Ifiamenu says in the face of devastating news, she is now poised and resilient to undergo treatment. Thanks to doctors, the assurances gave her strength to begin her journey. She spoke to our Eastern Regional correspondent, Yvonne Nikwe.
After the doctors made me go through a number of tests, I was referred to the St. Joseph Hospital. That was where I was told I had cervical cancer. It was heartbreaking for me. I cried, but the assurances from the doctors gave me hope.
Let's connect with my colleague Yvonne Nikwe, who has been finding out a bit more in terms of what is expected to happen in the treatment. Yvonne, thank you very much for joining us. How ready is the Eastern Regional Ghana Health Service? We know they are beginning a rollout of HPV vaccine medication, amongst many other things. Talk to us about that.
Well, Mawuena, the Ghana Health Service here in Eastern Region says it's fully prepared to roll out the vaccine exercise, which would begin tomorrow. Now the Deputy Director of Public Health in charge, Dr. Moses Dimache, says that it's fully trained its health personnel. It has gotten all the logistics in terms of the vaccine and everything needed for the exercise. For the Eastern Region, it's targeting over 200,000 young adolescents between the ages of 9 and 14. But two things we acknowledge that they have to overcome. Getting parents of these young adolescents to understand the need to get the vaccine, and then the target group themselves opening up to take the vaccine to ensure that they are having a higher uptake of the vaccine tomorrow. Again, he does agree that there are issues of stigma they would have to deal with as the exercise rolls on tomorrow. For the cases as Kemini was saying, he said that these health centers from the chief centers, district centers, and the regional centers, they have placed all their health personnel on the alert, such that when these symptoms are seen from 5 aged women, they'll be able to quickly detect it and then address it quickly. Let's hear him speak to us.
Right.
We are doing, and my interaction with you here is part of that activity. Yes. Thank you. So as we have kept stating, the target age group is adolescent girls within the ages of 9 and then 14 years. In the Eastern region, we are targeting 202,194. And as part of preparations to sensitize them, we are dealing closely with the GES. So in all our activities, we are engaging GES. We are even engaging the leadership of the private schools, as well as the owners of the private schools. And there are plans to also engage the PTAs, because unlike vaccination of the very young ones, the under 5s, this one is for target population that are quite old. So we need to sensitize both the adolescent girls as well as their parents. So we seem to have much more work to do.
Yvonne, just quickly on this rollout, what's the target? How many women are they targeting? Do we know? And in what forms and areas are they going?
Well, Eric, for this particular vaccination exercise, the target group is adolescent young girls between the ages of 9 and 14. Most of these girls were sure to see them in the basic school and quite a number in the senior high schools. And so these are the groups the Ghana Health Service is targeting for the vaccination exercise. For women who are above this age, but do have symptoms or have been diagnosed of it, it means that the people will have to go to the nearest hospital to ensure that their treatment is given them. And so we'll be watching out through the schools and communities to see how the health services roll out the vaccination and then how the target group is receiving them. Because for these vaccination exercises, what we have seen in times is that sometimes there are myths and misinformation among the public, and so they are resistant. We're hoping that we'll not see these resistance tomorrow, and then we'll have the exercise going on as peacefully as the Ghana Health Service would want. Because if people are not having the vaccination or do not receive the vaccination, it means that we would have a chunk of young girls or adult girls who may have cervical cancer or any other of the viruses connected to the HPV.
Yvonne, as always, thank you very much. That's Yvonne Nikwe. She's my colleague in the Eastern region for us. We'll go on to our very first break for the bulletin. When we return, we're in the Western region because there's growing tension over the use of the Jubilee Park there. We'll get details when we connect with my colleagues who are there. Stay with us.
Still News Central here on TV3. Let's bring you some other stories from across the regions now, because there's palpable tension at the Jubilee Park in Takoradi as the Efia Kwesiminsim Municipal Assembly enforces its order for traders and transport operators to vacate the place in order to return it to its original use. Several attempts in the past have been unsuccessful. While the transport operators have taken a court action, the traders continue to plead for extension of time. Abraham Mensah is our correspondent there. He's joining us with a bit more on the story. Abraham, good afternoon to you. What can you report from where you are? Abraham, you'd have to unmute so we can hear you. Right, go ahead. Tell us where you are and what you can report from there.
See, I'm currently at the Raman Transport Services Terminal at the Jubilee, around the Jubilee Park, popularly known as Ajib. So, apparently this is coming as a result of some action taken by the Efia Kwesiminsim Municipal Assembly to evict traders from the Jubilee Park, along with the transport operators here in Takoradi. Notices were served in October. That today, the transport terminal will be closed. As you can see behind me are concrete barriers, concrete crash barriers that will be mounted, closing out the entire terminal. And this is not deterring any transport operators from doing their business. On the shoulders of the road, you can see various commercial vehicles loading currently. You can see them busily, their conductors busily calling on passengers to board the buses along the road. So there is some military presence. There are police all around this place. Nothing seems to stop them from conducting their business.
Abraham, I'm afraid we'll have to end our conversation here due to the poor audio. But thank you so much for the reporting. Abraham Mensah is our Western Region correspondent.
Now, weeks after a TV3 reports, the Asokwa and Kumasi Metropolitan Assemblies have joined forces to tackle a dangerous blockade of plastic waste and refuse clogging a key drainage system along the Asokwa interchange to Ahojo Runabout Road. The intervention is a critical move to solve persistent sanitation menace and combat the perennial flooding that plagues major streets in the area. The operation aims to restore the drainage system's capacity ahead of the rainy season to prevent future overflows. So what's being done to ensure this doesn't happen again? Let's connect right now with Ibrahim Abubakar, who's live on the grounds where you're seeing videos of plastic waste in such enormous volumes and quantities being moved from the drainage system. Ibrahim, talk to us. You're at the scene. What's the scale? We've been seeing visuals of it, but talk to us about the scale of waste being removed to start off with. And then we ask the question, what is being done to prevent this from happening again?
Okay, Mawuena, so far we've have over 10 trucks coming here to collect the waste. And that should tell you the volume of the waste here. And still, the excavators are still working, trying to clear everything. So currently, after hours of work, this is the current state of the drainage. So you can see one excavator behind me, another one is also in front of me working. And this situation has persisted for several months. We recall on September 8th when we came here to do the story, and the regional minister gave the assurance that they will try everything possible to clear all the waste. So it had to take them over 3 weeks for them to be able to come out with that engineering work. So they are clearing everything to be moved to the dumping site. It has come as a sign of relief for most residents here, because they said anytime it rains, you have to see spillover of the water on the roads and also in their homes. And mosquito, or I would say malaria, has been very common in this area because of the waste here. So the two assemblies are doing everything possible. They say it will take them quite some time, at least a week or two, to be able to clear everything from here before they move to the next step of action of sustainability and also and so forth. I earlier engaged with the two mayors, one from the Kumasi mayor and also one from the Aspa Municipal Assembly. Let's listen to what they've been sharing with us briefly before we proceed.
We want to deal with the field first and then stop the spillages, if any, from getting to this side, because I had a wukum banza ema yenya ekono beautification no eye. Here we are. Yebepe kwanya yebefa so in the long term. Yebenya an engineering means to stop the waste from flowing to this end.
We say insuo to no be a friend run no atuogu that mass. It's a thing of the past. But be on minor drew no. We 2 cities kekema bobo ya obetima se run akwa ma. Any age na for the past 2 weeks. And then I pray how we engineering works. For the next 2 weeks, yeah, the back clear we name more senior.
Right, Ibrahim, let's talk reaction from residents and what the way forward is. We've heard the Kumasi mayor speak to finding ways of engineering to prevent this from happening. But talk to me first about the reaction of residents to this work being done and then perhaps a look ahead into the future.
So, Mawuena, for the residents, especially those who are living very close to this drainage, they are excited because, like I said, they have been complaining of frequent malaria because of the nature of the drainage, breeding mosquitoes, and so on and so forth. So they are excited, and even those who are even driving along this stretch have also been complaining, and they are also excited that this action has been taken. But they are also looking at sustainability, how we can sustain this operation so that in the next few months we wouldn't be seeing the kind of waste that we saw here. And for the assembly, they are saying it will be in twofold. For the first phase, they are starting with education because, mind you, this waste are not being generated by even residents around. It is from Asafo and other areas to this place. So they are starting the education there. Then after education, the thing that will follow will have to be enforcement. They will make sure the sanitation guards are also always monitoring whoever is found dropping waste in the drainage will be arrested and be sent to the sanitation court for prosecution. So those are the steps that they are taking because they are sinking thousands of Ghana cedis just so they will be able to make the place serene for the people around.
Right then, Ibrahim, thank you very much for the details. That's my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar speaking to us this afternoon.
Now, a month ago, PBC Shea in Bwepe officially resumed operations after a prolonged shutdown since 2019, with management expressing optimism for job creation and adding value to Ghana's shea industry. The reopening aligns with the government's 24-hour economic policy and aims to create jobs for women and young people. The relaunch has highlighted concerns about a potential raw material shortage and prompted calls for a ban on raw shea nut exports to ensure a consistent supply for the factory and promote domestic value addition. Well, let's take you there now. Christopher Mwako is a man on the ground. He's joining us with the very latest on this story. Christopher, are you at PBC Shea right now?
Yes, Kemini, I can confirm to you I'm there.
Indeed. Tell us what you have observed with the reopening. Looks very rather quiet behind you.
Yes, so the workers are actually working, but because they are supposed to get some chemicals before they'll be able to produce at full scale, they have actually been producing at 50%, and so they are able to do 80 tons of shea nuts a day, and so instead of doing about 200 tons of shea nuts a day, they're able to do 80 tons of shea nuts a day as it stands now. But I can confirm to you that work is in progress at PBC Shea here in Bwepe.
I see the residents must be elated by the job prospects that this could bring. Talk to us about their response to the reopening.
Yes, they are very happy because some of them have actually been employed 3 months ago. Even before the reopening, they had started the processes of getting people to work. Those who had lost their jobs as a result of the closure of the factory since 2019, most of them have been brought back to the factory to work, and so they are very happy that work has commenced, and they hope that it will be sustainable going forward, so that their source of livelihood will be assured. Others are also saying that once the factory is going to operate 24 hours, they are hoping that they will also be engaged to also do other things at the factory. Let's take a listen to what some of the people who have been employed there have been telling me.
I started working here around 2012, and we've worked up to 2019, and it seems there was some breakages of the work. We stopped for some time. We stopped from there up to 2005. From the time we were working, things were moving on well for all the staffs. Some were able to marry, some build, some establish businesses. And from the time the work shut down, in fact, there was some difficulties among the staffs, especially those who were permanent workers. The permanent workers were not maybe allowed to go to somewhere to work because your mind is that anytime you can be called. And so we remain in that condition for some time until after the election 2025, we resume work again. And there is a hope seeing what is happening and the type of leadership they brought. With their actions, we are seeing that the work actually is going to start with volume.
I've been here like 3 months now, and then I've applied to so many places, but thank God BBC is able to pick me as a cleaner, and I'm very happy to be one of the cleaners here. I'll be able to help my siblings, like the younger ones. That is my junior sister who is still at the junior secondary school, and then my junior brother too, who is learning a work at the
Christopher, we expect to hear many more of such stories as the company continues to thrive. But, you know, is it able to do the 24-hour service as it plans to do?
Yes, so currently the factory, even though it's not operating at full capacity, that is 100%, but with the 50% it is operating, it's able to span through the 24 hours. So if you go there at night, you see the workers there putting things in order. They first of all carry the nuts to the machines, they grind, waiting to mill the nuts there. So work is in progress throughout the day, and they are able to do the 24 hours. Let's take a listen to what the district chief executive for the Central Gonja district has to say about the resumption of work by PBC.
For the transformer to come and transform PBC for them to get the jobs. So I have hope and confidence that once they get themselves over there to work, they will do the best and get the best out of PBC. All the advice I would give is that they should be very, very careful, and they should be aware that this is the only project, this is the only government project or government factory that we have in the Savannah region, for that matter, Central Gonja. So we should be very careful when we are dealing with this product. Sometimes small stealing and other things, unlawful taking of money and other things will grant it. Because this project is going to operate, feed itself, and pay the workers. So once it is operational and the workers there are faithful and enough to do what is expected of them, they can pay themselves and generate profit and develop the country as well.
And Christopher, in terms of getting raw materials for the factory, what do they plan to do to replenish the trees as they bear fruit and they use those?
Yes, so the District Chief Executive has just informed me during that interview that they have gazetted some laws, bylaws of the Assembly, indicating that if you cut down one shea tree, you are going to replant about 10 to 20 shea trees. They are also in talks with the traditional authorities and other stakeholders to ensure that the shea tree is protected. Now, quite apart from that, you know that charcoal burning and felling of trees is very rampant in the Savannah region, and so this is the reason why this call or this laws are to be adhered to, so that it will prevent other people from felling these trees. Now, apart from this, Kemini, the Assembly is also ensuring that, you know, government has placed a ban on the exportation of shea nuts, and so they are hoping that the borders will be protected so that the raw materials in the communities can feed the factory to be able to remain operational.
Christopher, nice talking to you. Thank you so much for the report. And Christopher Mwako is our Savannah region correspondent.
Now, the Bono Regional Police Command has tightened security in Sampa after a police officer was killed on Sunday. Gunmen wearing masks reportedly stormed Sampa in the Bono region on Sunday afternoon, opening fire in part of the township during a violent clash between rival groups. A policeman was hit and reportedly died. According to sources, the police officer was in pursuit of some people believed to be engaged in suspicious activities in the township. Let's bring you some more stories this afternoon here on News Central. And of the many things we've been talking to you about, one of such is the concern in relation to activities in rising infections of HIV. And the Ghana AIDS Commission, in collaboration with UN AIDS and key partners, has successfully launched the National HIV Response Sustainability Roadmap Part 1, also known as Part A. The strategy document represents a bold shift towards a nationally owned HIV response fully aligned with global best practices and integrated into Ghana's broader health and development agenda.
Objectives of the roadmap is to strengthen country ownership, domestic resource mobilization, and health system strengthening. The Ghana AIDS Commission has been exploring sustainable financing options to support the national HIV response. The Commission is also leveraging private sector involvement in HIV financing to ensure long-term sustainability of care and support services. By launching the National HIV Response Sustainability Roadmap Part A, Ghana is taking significant steps towards achieving its HIV targets and ensuring a sustainable response to the epidemic.
The biggest challenge was what? Political will and the financing system. Once the political will is there, the financing system, there are various ways you can get around it. Now, a greater part of that is that the clinical care of HIV management is being integrated in the NHIA. Ghana AIDS Commission has had several meetings with the NHIA, and we are now working on the actuals of engaging that whole clinical aspect into the NHIA. Once that is done, then the other aspect is the chronic care aspect, the human rights, the prevention issue. Then we can do in a greater way.
The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namumulati, said the roadmap is a clear signal that the government is taking full responsibility for financing and sustaining HIV programs.
We need to look at the issue of sustainability seriously, especially sustainable financing of our health sector, especially HIV/AIDS in Ghana. It's not just about us going out there, having the other sources of funding available to work on AIDS or HIV programs. It is about us looking within and then mobilizing nationally to ensure that whatever comes from outside will be an add-on.
According to UN AIDS, an estimated 354,000 people in Ghana are living with HIV with prevalence at 1.66%. More than 15,000 people were infected in 2024. New infections are highest among young women aged 15 to 24 a trend that underscores the need for stronger prevention and sustained government-led action.
And that's our bulletin for you this afternoon. I am Mawuena Egbeta.
And I am Kemini Amanor. We're back here same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.